What's going on, everybody? It's Amon-Rellik the God Slayer. We are back in another video. A video about Tekken 8. I know you guys have been wondering where the hell I've been in terms of Tekken. I wanted to have a little talk with you guys. At this point, you guys already know my long history with Tekken. I've been playing Tekken. Tekken's been my favorite franchise ever since I've known of Tekken's existence. I've been a career Kazuya main for... I can't really put a full day. I'd say around Tekken 2. Ever since Tekken 2, I've been like a full-blown Kazuya main. I played every Tekken except for Tekken 7. Almost religiously. I got into Tekken 7 near the end of its life cycle. I was going through a lot of stuff during that time, so I didn't really get to delve into it. But every other Tekken, I've delved into it religiously. I even went back and mastered Tekken 1's Kazuya. First, let me say this much. The TLDR is I'm switching my main to my secondary. My secondary character, I never really had one back in the day outside of June. June was my secondary back in the day for real, but I didn't really go into her, deep into her. When Lydia came out in Tekken 7, I really loved the way she played because she felt like a more flexible version of Mishima. And so I gravitated to her a lot. You know, I love her design, and I love the way she's designed as a, traditional karate fighting style. So I gravitated into being my secondary. In Tekken 8, I have come to realize that while my first couple of streams in this game, right? And I was, running through the ranks with Kazuya. And it felt good. It felt good. It felt good to know that I still had it, right? But I had to reevaluate some things. And one of the things I had to reevaluate was none of these characters in this game are balanced equally. See, Tekken used to have that. It used to be a thing where every character had strengths and weaknesses, and they were purposely given strengths and weaknesses. And these weaknesses were meant to basically give the other opponent a fighting chance to win, right? So, like for instance, everybody knows that Kazuya was a punish king back in the day. Like his lightning uppercut, his god fist, they were insane punishes. You did not want to get hit with these, right? But they were also very, very fast punishes. There was a time when the Electric Wind Godfist was the bread and butter of Kazuya, right? It was so much of the bread and butter that, it became, unironically, it became his signature move, right? Well, we've gotten to a point now to where, because of the amount of plus frames in the game that a lot of these characters can achieve and maintain throughout the fight, those kind of punishes don't work as reliable anymore. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. So they sped everything up. So because they sped everything up, the punish playstyle doesn't really work anymore, because in order to be that way, you have to be more defensive. You have to play a little bit more patient and methodically, right? And this worked in Tekken 7. This worked in the older Tekkens because all of the other Tekkens were based around defensive play, right? You were playing a game of chess with your opponent. It was mental chess, right? Well, this Tekken doesn't rely on mental chess. And I went through a few stages, I guess you could say the stages of grief. I went through the stages of grief playing Tekken 8 like most people who played hardcore throughout the series, we all went through these stages of grief when we realized that Tekken was no longer Tekken. I say it in Mike Hollow's videos. I've said it in some other people's videos that cover Tekken, and I'll keep saying it. This is a decent fighting game, but it is a horrible Tekken. It is a horrible Tekken. You've got characters that are balanced way too out of control. People like, we all know the main culprits. We know Yoshimitsu, Dragunov, I never really had any real problems with Nina, but I'm seeing that she's becoming a headache. Like Jin is wild now. Jin is wild now, man. And here's my thing. If you're going to change the fundamentals by which Tekken relies on, and anybody who comes out of the woodwork yapping their gums talking about, oh man, Tekken is still the same. No, it is not. The fundamentals of this Tekken are night and day compared to what Tekken was in the last 7 iterations of it. Like, we've seen Tekken change little by little over time, but it's never been this big of a change. It's never been this huge of a change where it's like, when we saw, like, for instance, when Rage Arts came in 7, right? We were like, okay, this is kind of, all this cutscene-y shit that gives people one-button saves. Not too hype about that, but it was more of like I guess you could say, a natural evolution of the rage meter. Because you remember back in 6.5, when you reached a certain amount of health, you got the rage meter, where basically at that point you just did more damage now for your hits. It was supposed to be a somewhat comeback mechanic for when you were, like, if you were snowballing. It was supposed to, like, set off snowballing, right? And that was the natural evolution of that snowball mechanic, I guess. But we never expected Harada to go any further than that in making the game so damn messy. I have seen, in Tekken 8, I have seen matches where I've played matches. I have a best friend. I've played matches where, the little slow-mo clash when both sides have very little health left, and it's that last hit that's going to decide the match. I've seen those matches. I've seen those clashes happen where people's hitboxes totally don't exist, where punches are going through people, where I was playing Kazuya and my friend was playing Azucena. He did Azucena's move where she jumps in the air and barrel rolls into a punch. I'm going under him with a low God Fist move. I do this on purpose because in my brain I'm thinking she's gonna barrel roll over my head, which is going to reset us back into mid distance, and we'll be able to decide, to play this chess game again. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at it like Tekken has always been a very tight game. It's been a very tight, it's a very tight wound game. Not many things are left to chance. So when I do this, I'm expecting her body to go over my head because she's clearly over my body. But instead, she barrel rolls in place in midair, as if there's like a wall holding her there so that she can't go over my head. And he gets the downward smash on me and beats me with something that makes visually no sense. Visually no sense, right? And I've seen other clips. I've seen a clip of a King player fighting a Steve, and the King's face is clearly getting socked in the face by Steve, but his hand go right through him as if he's not even there. And it's like, this is the kind of messiness. Now, mind you, that's something you can see clearly in the slow-mo, but I've seen this stuff in actual hyped-in gameplay. Like, I'm playing, and in the middle of the match, where we're trying to block each other and fight, I'm seeing where moves that I do should hit you, and they don't. Or moves that I don't think will hit me, they do. And it's like, how did that move touch me? This game has become very messy. You know, so I don't want to hear the old idea. Oh, it's the same Tekken. You're just mad because you're not good at it anymore. It's obvious that this Tekken it's running on a completely different mindset, on a completely different rule set. But I'm not here to complain about the rule set. What I am here to tell you is I've come to realize that because these characters are so vastly different in terms of like their balance so vastly different, you've got characters like a good fighting game should have all the characters in a relative tier to each other. Meaning you might have some that are better than others, but they should never be leagues better than each other. It's okay to have ups and downs where you got some characters that are a little bit harder or a little bit weaker than others, but they're never egregiously so. No one character is egregiously higher than the other. But you've got characters in this game that literally have toolkits built for this Tekken. And then you have certain characters like my Kazuya. Kazuya is not built for this Tekken. There are certain other characters in this Tekken that aren't built for this Tekken. Meaning they don't have the tools. Case in point. I want to show some things.
Kazuya Mishima. Jin Kazama.
Alright, I want to show you some things.
Get ready for the next battle.
And what I'm going to show you is what I mean by no tools. No tools. You ready? Alright. First thing is this. That is my only legit mix-up with this character, right? Now, just to let you know, I play on controller. Okay, I play on controller. Just to let you know, I don't use fight stick, so if you look at my movement and you wonder why my movement isn't fight stick style, it's because I don't play with a fight stick. But my one mix-up, right, is something I can't quicken it. What I mean by that is this part. This. Now, the thing is with this, right, I either have to commit to a 50-50 chance and take a hit, because any person in their right mind isn't going to let me do this. They're not going to let me do this. It's one of the reasons why we practice this. We practice getting this. We practice getting this. We practice this because we tried to get rid of this. Right? That's the idea, is to get rid of that. To get rid of that. Because that, right, this right here gets you hit. But the only mix-up I have is this. Now the problem is I can't get rid of this to go into the mix-up. I have to do this motion. Now the reason why I have a problem with this is because if we go into, can I switch characters from here? Will it let me switch the character? Will it let me take control of Jin? Will it let me take control of Jin? Will it let me take control of Jin? Maybe I can do it from here. Excuse me. Oh, shit. Maybe it won't. So what I'll do is right here. We're gonna go and get Jin, and then I'm gonna show you what I mean.
Jin Kazama. Kazuya Mishima.
Now,
Ready for the next battle.
Jin isn't the egregious person that I'm trying to make him out to be, but he's the perfect example as to what I'm trying to show here. All right. This right here, doesn't mean much, but when I'm in this, this is technically the same 50-50. It's the same thing. It's the same 50-50. Alright, it's the same 50-50. But it's one that, if you notice, when I hit him with that, let me go into full rage so I can, not rage, but heat. There you go. You see that? Like, there's no way to recover from that. You know, all I can probably do is block that. That's it. There's no way I can hit you out of that. Just because of, look at where I'm at. Look at where I'm at. I'm laying down practically. Now, mind you, as Jin, right? As Jin, I have a stance, right? You know, I have a stance. Oh, not only do I have a stance, but if you really want to look at it from a point of view of like that, if you really want to look at it from the point of view of just overall toolkit, right? Let's just go to the hyper armor by themselves. Let's just look at all the hyper armor moves I have. Mind you, a lot of these are in heat, but this is but let's look at the heat. Let's look at the ability. Let's look at the heat. Look at the heat. Look at the heat activations. Let's look at the amount of heat activations. and let's take a look at how they are initiated. Ooh, I took my heat off. Hold on. I fucked around. I'm sorry, people, but I took my heat. There you go. There you go. That's lightning fast. That can literally interrupt. So that's basically a punish into heat. Then you have, where's it at? Where's it at? Then you have this one. Where's it at? That comes out of a legit combo in that sense. You have that one. You have that one. Probably one of the most egregious ones, though, is that. Why? Because it's hyper armored. It is hyper armored. It is a homing hyper armored heat engager. That is the hyper armor starts once he does this part, which he's gonna eat whatever it is you're doing. He's gonna eat it, and then he's gonna backhand you, right, into a heat engage, in which now he's still plus frames. You're not, and at this point, now he's got the chance. Now he can just start the combo, right? He can just go ahead and start the combo. But it's the amount of heat engaging he has. right? And this is just an example. I'm not pointing at Jin as the main culprit of a lot of this stuff, but I just want you to understand that it's undeniable that not every character has the same level of toolkit.
Kazuya Mishima, Jin Kazama.
And this heat stuff is important, man, because it's the major mechanic of the game. It is the major mechanic in the game. So it's very important when a character only has, like for instance, with Kazuya, the only hyper armor move I have does not put me in heat. When I connect it, it doesn't give me a combo. The only time it does, it's not even on counter hit. Like if I go into, not even in counter hit, I don't get it. The only way I get a combo off of that is if you're already in the air. I have this. I have this. And I have this. Those are the three I have. This can be blocked rather easily because the one that the startup on it is this, and you usually want to use this to try and pull distance. And while you can get it off, right? While you can get it off, most people are looking for this. But that isn't a heat engager. But this is. However, this isn't. But that is. Right? Cool. But it's not hyper armor. I can be hit out of this. You know what I mean? I can be hit out of that. You know. And even while I'm in heat, the most I get is changes to the uppercut, changes to the kick, this, which I am not going to hit people with that, like that's not for that. And then of course I get guaranteed electrics, right? I get guaranteed electrics. But it's like, what's the use of guaranteed electrics when electrics can be beaten with like kicks? I've had my electrics beaten with kicks. With these. Mind you, if you look at the frame startup, that's 11. I'm getting beat with 14 frame kicks. Now, if you want to talk about punishes, one of the most well-known punishes for Kazuya in this state is that. It's that right there. Alright? I don't have any ability to make anything past this work unless you're at the wall. If you're at the wall, now I can capitalize and make a combo out of it. But if I'm punishing you anywhere in mid-screen, this is all I got. It used to be this. That used to be fast enough to punish. And when I did, I would get this, which would allow me to have a combo. Hell, even a perfect electric was fast enough to punish. You know. And I'm not playing on a really good controller here, which is why it's very, very difficult for me to. Whew, there you go. But like, even with the electrics, it's no longer reliable as a punish anymore. You know what I mean? And if you want to talk about like the Okis in this situation, the one really good Oki he probably has that allows him to capitalize is this. You know, we had this. We had that, right? And once we had you up against that wall, you know, well, I want. But then they nerfed that. They nerfed that to scoot you back further, so that I guess they didn't. I guess it was considered too powerful, and so they nerfed that. Like Kazuya's been nerfed before in this game already. A character that has barely changed from his previous iterations, even though the game itself has changed in the way it plays. Kazuya has not changed very much. They gave him this. They gave him this mix-up, which is honestly not a real mix-up because it can be stopped. It can be, and it will be stopped by anybody who knows what they're doing. They're going to stop me from doing this. They're not going to let me do this. It's the reason why we practice this. It's because we don't want you to be able to see it coming. Anyway. Kazuya is my favorite character. Kazuya is the character that I've mained for over 15 years. But he is no longer the character that I can main in this game because he no longer has the toolkit that can keep up with the rest of this game's with the rest of this game's abilities. Like, I just can't do it. And mind you, it's something when so much of the game changes, right? And you realize that the character that you've been maining and that you've been, the character you feel most acclimated to, all of a sudden, still it feels old in comparison to everything else. Like Jin has gone through multiple iterations where his fighting style has damn near almost completely changed. Heihachi, while he does have many moves that remind you of Heihachi, his fighting style is not the way it was in 7 or in 6 or anything like that. Kazuya is the only one that has barely truly changed. Barely changed. And giving him a signature patricide move doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything about him. And it's like, now people will say, well, he's well balanced. That's true. Kazuya is well balanced in this game, but he's not balanced for this game. You see what I'm saying? He's balanced as Kazuya. He's balanced. He has all the tools that he's always had, and he's had the weaknesses that he's always had. But he has not had anything change to suit this new playstyle of Tekken. I can't capitalize on I have to overcommit on almost all of my combos. If those are blocked, stand block, please. -6. -14. How about this? -2. -9. I have to overcommit in every one of my strings. I have to overcommit on all of my strings. Hell, that's the only thing that allows me to that I can do. And if I don't do the perfect one, I'm -10, -5, -9, -19. I'm +2, but what does it matter? Because I'm gonna get hit out of this. I'm gonna get hit with a mid or a low tap. They're not gonna let me do that. Oh, and don't let that be blocked. Don't let that be blocked. Oh, it's over with. It's over with. I'm getting sky high. I'm getting sky high. And if you don't know what sky high means, I'm basically going to get uppercutted. I'm going to get uppercutted into the air. So, of course I wouldn't do that. But for some reason I don't get that. You can just duck my shit. You can just duck it. In what world do you ducking up under a punch that is literally coming for your face? In what world do you duck this stuff? In what world do you duck that and somehow not get hit? That punch doesn't go this way. That punch isn't going this way. That punch isn't going left to right or right to left. It's coming from down to up. It's coming from down to up. Yet I am not getting it. Do you know how many times I've seen this happen to me? Like, this doesn't make any sense. None whatsoever. None. But that's what's happening in Tekken now. But not only that. But again, I just don't have tools. Like, I don't have things to stop you other than this. That is the only thing I can use to stop you. Oh, and he has a counter. A lot of people don't know he has one. It's this. But it only counters punches. And it only counters punches. And you have to be so precise that the punch must meet this frame right there. It has to meet that frame where his left hand goes up. If it doesn't meet that at any point in time before or after that, it's not a counter. It is the tightest window for a counter I've ever seen. And it's the only one he has. I just don't have the tools necessary to compete with this new Tekken playstyle. Not with this character. So, instead, I have transitioned my main to being fully my secondary.
Lydia Sobieska. Jin Kazama.
Why? Because
Ready for the next battle.
she has all the tools I need to compete. She has all the tools necessary. One, she has a massively good offense. She has the ability to weave in and out. She has counters. She has multiple ways to get into heat. That puts me into heat. She even has them out of her stance changes. I can... She has multiple ways to set up. And she can set up in ways that doesn't leave her negative framed out of the woodworks. Like, for instance... Right? It's only -4. I can work with -4. I can work with -4. That's +8. I can work with that. And this, I wouldn't even use unless I've got you. I would use that the same way I would use Kazuya's axe kick as a means of Oki. You know. And so it's just logical. It's logical that, okay, this character, Kazuya is no longer fit for Tekken. not the way this Tekken is played. And so I need to change mains if I plan on continue. If I'm going to take Tekken seriously, I have to change mains. Because if not, then I have to be at the mercy of plus frame characters like Dragunov and characters whose strings don't leave them at the disadvantage that a character that has to overcommit does. And so it's like I need a character that has a toolkit that is capable of keeping up. And this is gonna be her. And so I can't say that I'm disappointed with the fact that I have to, because I've always loved playing Lydia. I've always loved playing her, and you know, she was always going to be my secondary. But I am disappointed in the fact that this Tekken has changed so egregiously that I have to put down a character that I have played for over 15 years. Simply because the character itself has not been improved to keep up with the rest of this game. And it's not just Kazuya that's like that. There are other characters that have been left behind. They're in this game, but toolkit wise, they have been left behind. And then they're supposed to be able to compete alongside these other characters. But it's cool. Like I said, I'm not here to complain. I'm just here to let you guys know that I'm coming back. I'll be back in the give me a few because I want to get a better controller, because I'm using a bulky Xbox controller, and I never played Tekken with a bulky Xbox controller for real. I love playing with a PlayStation 4 controller, and I play on PC, so I can use whatever kind of controller I want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give me a few weeks to get my check, and then I'm gonna grab me a controller, and then we're gonna go back into ranked. We're going to go back to streaming this game just about every day. And I just want you guys to know now, if you don't see Kazuya anymore, that's the reason. I'm still a Kazuya main at heart, but I can't be one as a competitive Tekken player. Thanks guys for hanging out and watching. In the meantime, I'll have some more videos coming out of some other games and some random stuff. Probably some more. I might do another Throne of Liberty. I might do another Throne of Liberty video. It depends. But if not, I'll have some other games coming up until then to hold you over. But I'd say probably the beginning of November, people. Beginning of November, we're back in Tekken. I just hope you guys don't hate me for making a logical decision when it comes down to, if I really want to go to EVO, if I really want to take this game seriously, regardless of how I feel about the game, because I feel like this game is a horrible Tekken, but I still want to make a name for myself in the scene. If I'm going to take that seriously, then I'm going to have to pick a character that can compete, that can truly compete, and I won't be playing with with my hands tied behind my back, because my kit is incapable of stopping things. Like, at least with her, I've got counters that can stop your attacks. So if you choose to be over aggressive, I can make you pay for being over aggressive. I can't do that with Kazuya, because all the punishes that I used to be able to rely on to keep you from being over aggressive no longer allowed. You can literally duck my Electric Wind God Fist. A move that goes from up to down, you can duck into it and not get hit by it. Like, when I see things like that, it's like, okay, yeah, I gotta switch. Like, the toolkit isn't there. Balanced character, but not balanced for this game. And so it's like, I gotta pick another character that still calls to me, but it's a character that can actually, handle the way this game is being played now. And who knew I would end up going to my backup character as my main. I never really thought I would. I thought she would remain my secondary, just a character that I played on the side, as like my second pick choice if Kazuya was to ever die in the story, and you know, he was never in the game anymore. If I had to pick another character, it would be her. But now it's like, even with him being front and center as like the main baddie of the story, just about, I'm having to switch. You know, because it's just, I can't, mathematically and just off of play feel, he's unwieldy to use. And some people might say, "Oh man, you know, why you quitting on Kazuya, man? You know, you should just hold out. You should just hold out." It's like, I have to play this game with the assumption that every person I go up against, especially at high ranks, they're going to play. I have to go with the assumption that they're going to play to win. They're not going to play to be fun, or they're not going to play to have honor, or things like that. They're going to play to win. You know? And I have to go under the assumption that that's how they're going to play. So when I come across a Dragunov player, I have to assume that he's not going to purposely not use certain things because he knows it's OP. Nah, he's going to use everything he can to get the win. So what? His character's OP. That's the way he sees it. A win is a win. And so I have to go under that same mentality. Yeah, the honorable part of me wants to stick to Kazuya. I really do. Like, it took me a minute, dude. It took me a minute to honestly have to look at myself in the mirror and say, dude, you can't do this with this character. Like, you can't. I've played matches with Kazuya and played matches with Lydia against human people who are pretty good at this game, and I have seen the effort it has taken me to win with him versus her, and the effort is night and day. It's night and day. And I was trying to figure out where that effort difference came from. Like, why is it so much harder for me to beat someone with a character that I know very, 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 very well? And I know this character way more than I even know Lydia like that. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I know Lydia like that. But, like, it's like, why is it that a character that I know more, I'm finding it more difficult to win? And then I realize it's like, because when the opponent decides to become hyper aggressive, which this game cherishes, this game will give you all of the fucking benefits for being aggressive. With Kazuya, I don't have any way to stop you from doing that. I have to just block and read 50-50 and hope that I guess right. And the moment I don't, I take massive damage for guessing wrong. Whereas with her, I can make I have an active ability to stop you from doing that. You know what I'm saying? I can be proactive in not only my offense, but my defense as well. And that's what I liked about old Tekken, was that your offense and your defense was something that you had full control over. So when you won with skill. When you lost because of skill. But that's not this Tekken. You know what I mean? That's not this Tekken. So I have to reevaluate how I approach training, how I approach my wins and my losses. I have to reevaluate all of it, because I can't take my losses too seriously, because I know that I'm not truly losing to full on skill. There might be some skill there, but I'm not losing to purely skill. I'm losing to a plethora of messy things. And then even when I win, I can't even say, "Oh wow, I'm winning because I'm just super duper skilled." You know, I'm winning based on a mixture of skill and a bunch of messy mechanics. You know, that happen to go my way. But if I'm going to, this is the Tekken I'm stuck with, guys. This is the Tekken we're stuck with. So if this is going to be the Tekken we're stuck with, we gotta play by the rules. We gotta play by the rules, and I can't play by those rules playing with Kazuya. You know what I mean? I can't play by them. But boy, I can play by them with Lydia, baby. And so, Baby Girl is going to be our new champion. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. I'm Amon-Rellik the God Slayer. I'm out.